Yesterday, when we took a look at graphing our linear inequalities, all of our equations were already in y equals mx plus b, so we didn't have to do any pre-work, like question number 1 here. For question number 1, I can go ahead and graph my line y equals negative 4x plus 5, and then I can decide which side to shade it. So if I want to graph the line y equals negative 4x plus 5, I have to start up at 5 on the y-axis, because that's my b, and I'm going to plot a point. Then I want to follow my slope of negative 4 over 1. So I'm going to travel down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. And again, I can go down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. When I draw my line in, since it's just a greater than sign, it's going to be a dotted line. And since my equation is in the form of y equals mx plus b, and I have a greater than sign, I'm going to shade above the line. Now for question number 2, notice that it's not in the same form. Y isn't by itself. So for question number 2, I want to get y by itself first, which means that if I have the equation x plus y is greater than negative 2, I want to subtract the x from both sides, and I'm going to have y is greater than negative x minus 2. Now that it's in the correct form, I always start with the y-intercept, which is negative 2. So on the y-axis, I'm going to go down to negative 2 and make a point. This time, I have a slope of negative 1. So I'm going to go down 1, forward 1, down 1, forward 1. Again, it's going to be a dotted line. Because it's just a greater than. And since it's greater than, I'm going to shade above the line. Same thing for problems number 3 and 4. In order to graph my line first, I want to put it into y equals mx plus b. So if I take a look at question number 3 here, I have to get y by itself. So I'm going to start by just rewriting my problem so that I have room to work. And if we want to get y by itself, we need to remove the 8x first. So let's subtract 8x from both sides. And we'll be left with negative 5y is less than negative 8x plus 20. And when we're solving with inequalities, anytime we divide both sides by a negative, or multiply both sides by a negative, we have to flip the inequality. So we now have y is greater than 8/5 x minus 4. Now my line is in the correct form. I'm going to start down at negative 4 on the y-axis, and then I'm going to follow my slope, traveling up 8 over 5. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and make a point. And then my line is dotted, since it's just a greater than. And once again, greater than, we've got a little pattern here, is above the line. For question number 4, just like in question number 3, I have to get y by itself. So I need to do a little pre-work first. Let's go ahead and start by rewriting the equation so that we can do our work. 3x plus 4y is greater than or equal to 8. We want to get that y by itself. Let's start by subtracting 3x from both sides. That leaves you with 4y is greater than or equal to negative 3x plus 8. Then I need to divide everything by 4 to get y by itself. And that leaves us with y is greater than or equal to negative 3/4 x plus 2. Let's make that greater than or equal to sign a little better. There we go. Now we've got our equation in the right form, If I have a plus 2, I'm going to start up at 2 on the y-axis. And this time I have a slope of negative 3/4. I travel down 3, 1, 2, 3, over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, make a point, and I'm going to draw a solid line in since it's greater than or equal to. Now the funny thing is that all of these ended up being greater thans. So once again, I'm going to shade above the line. Now if you look at the back side of your worksheet, notice that questions 5 and 6 are already in the correct format of y equals mx plus b. For number 5, your first point is going to be at the origin, and then you're going to travel down 5 and over 4. For number 6, your first point is going to be up 3 on the y-axis, and you want to put that negative up in the numerator for the slope, so you're going to travel down 6 and over 5. Then, for questions 7 through 10, all of these you need to first put in the correct format of y equals mx plus b. So once you do that, then you can graph them.